Christie, he's getting mercilessly mocked for his appearance at the lengthy Trump speech last night. Christie stood there silently for about 40 minutes, and if you know Governor Christie, imagine how painful that was. Internet lining up to make fun of him, everybody saying he looked like a hostage video. The hashtag Free Christie, it is exploding on Twitter and Facebook. BuzzFeed, they put music even to it. Take a listen.
We're going to make Florida great again, folks. We're going to make it great again. And, you know, I watched Tony's speech.
And this tweet from The Daily Show says it all. The only question on Christie's mind is, what have I done? Now, 6 Gannett-owned New Jersey dailies, they are calling for Christie to step down. The joint op-ed says in part, we're disgusted with his endorsement of Donald Trump after he spent months on the campaign trail trashing him. We're fed up with his continuing travel out of state on New Jersey's dime. For the good of the state, it's time for Christie to do his long neglected constituents a favor and resign as governor. If he refuses, citizens should initiate a recall effort. Now, Congressman, obviously New Jersey is home to you. I said as much yesterday, not the recall, but I said he should follow, literally, Palin's footsteps in Alaska. Clearly, she had her mind on another job than the one she had, and at least she had the good conscience, if she wasn't going to do it, to step aside and do something else. He wants to be anywhere but in New Jersey. 200 days last year, for crying out loud. Forget about getting facts in the way of what he did, being duplicitous on pensions and everything else, let alone with the specter of Bridgegate still hanging over his head and where that investigation will go. It's an amazing fall from grace.
Well, Richard, you know, so many New Jerseyans had high hopes for him, including me, Democrats and Republicans. Remember, he was a Republican who won in a blue state, and he won twice. He has a lot of political talent, and he can be very personable and charming and can bring people together for some tough compromises. However, he lost sight of that for the last number of years. He was away, as you said, from New Jersey more than 2/3 of the time. My point is this, that if he decides to follow Donald Trump around for the next 8 months, he ought to resign today or declare today, yes, I've endorsed Donald Trump, but I'm going to stay here in New Jersey and take care of the pension mess, the tax mess, the education mess, and the jobs mess, and the infrastructure mess that I promised I would take care of, that I haven't. If he won't say that, he should resign today.
And Andrew, it's not just the chattering class. You look at the poll numbers here. Across the board, his unfavorables are a record high for any
think he
sitting
has the
governor.
lowest poll numbers of any New Jersey governor in history. I think that's what the latest poll numbers say.
Just think where he was.
Oh,
after
absolutely.
Sandy.
Absolutely. Although I respectfully disagree with the congressman. Look, I'm not a fan of Chris Christie's. I think he's really neglected the state, and I'd like to see him do a better job. But it's on him as to whether he wants to resign or not. I understand the calls that he's not doing it and if he's going to chase Donald Trump around. But if Andrew Cuomo was somehow summoned by Hillary Clinton to go around the country with her and give speeches on her behalf, nobody's going to really be that upset with Andrew Cuomo for doing it. And granted,
he's in a different
popularity
if he did
level.
it for the last year and a half, he did everything but do his job, and then he went to be basically lapdog for, in the analogy that Andrew did, Hillary. I think Cuomo would hear the same heat.
I have a problem with the analogy. Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump.
Take a different
Hillary
governor
Clinton,
and a different candidate. I mean,
as the congressman said,
can you?
Former senator, former secretary of state, former senior advisor to the president of the United States versus Donald Trump. As you know, I have been very critical of this governor each and every day because I have seen him as a total phony from day one. But I'm not going to continue to pile on. I feel bad for the man. I really think, looking at that video as I saw it last night, I really think that he's having a nervous breakdown because he's a victim. We've all been there. Bad timing. Man, I missed my opportunity. I could have been the Republican nominee. Yes, I stabbed Romney in the back at the convention, but I could have been Obama.
contender.
I could have been a contender. That's a good one. And now it's nada.
just one more point. The people of New Jersey knew he was going to run for president in 2013 when they reelected him. They knew he was going to be a part-time governor, and they still reelected him. It's the will of the people being enacted.
In fairness, no New Jerseyan, Republican or Democrat, and I have friends across both aisles, Nobody thought that he would abandon the
Yeah.
state the way he has, with all due respect.
And how he did that tonally too, which was people said, "You have a huge storm coming in." He goes, "What do you want me to do? Get a mop?" I mean, it's funny in an era of Trump, with being as bellicose and rude as he was. Christie was kind of halfway there, you know. He had the bullying and everything, but he wouldn't go full Monty like Trump did. He didn't have the perceived record in business that Trump did either. So he was kind of caught in the middle.
That's right. And, you know, in fairness to Christie, I mean, he's looking ahead to what the next thing is, right? The options are
is the
limited
next
in
thing?
New Jersey, right? I mean, he can't
Yep.
go any further. And so he's trying to remain relevant and give himself some options after his term is done. And this might be one way in his political calculation to do that. You know, the question really is, though, would we be having this conversation? Would there be this much backlash if it were anyone other than Donald Trump that he had decided to throw his support behind?
I think
had it been
there's a
Mitt
good amount.
Romney-
I think there's a good chance there would have been, just because of the baggage that Christie brought to it. But we're gonna have to leave it on this note. Doctor, thank you very
My
much.
pleasure.
Congressman, as always. You two guys, see you tomorrow. Coming up next, we'll pivot to the legal world. Both of the front runners dealing with their own legal issues. Trump getting sued over Trump University. Hillary's still dealing with those private server emails. Our panel of attorneys straight ahead to hear the cases.